jumping right into it, we have the dice roll, so it looks like the Crusadia Guardragon player is going to take the win with the dice roll, and he's going to choose to go first. So let's see what happens next. I am the Nekroz player, and this is a going first build of Nekroz rather than going second, which is what I've been playing. So unfortunately, the Crusadia Guardragon player, his hand is not too good. He bricked extremely badly. So he's just gonna pass turn and hope for the best. So I start with Pot of Extravagance, banishing 6 for cost. A lot of people are pretty indecisive about Pot of Extravagance and Nekroz, and you just absolutely need more cards. I don't think there's any question of should you be playing it. It's do you have the capability to afford it. So it's going to resolve, so I'm going to get those extra 2 cards. So now I have 7 cards to try to OTK this guy with, and it shouldn't be too hard. Nekroz is pretty good at putting quite a bit of damage on board, assuming you don't open like 3 megas aboard. So normal summoning Manju of the 10,000 hands, getting that free +1 on summon, and I believe I'm going to search Brio. I can't actually remember, but right there he's just reading my Manjus because they are German supers. Now, the problem with Nekroz is I can never figure out what the exact best line of play is because there's so many options available to you. So you need to really resource management because all of your effects are a hard once per turn. But I'm going to add the Nekroz of Unicorn off of the Brio because I believe I hard drew Kaleidoscope. So right now I'm just checking to see which Kaleidoscope targets I banished, and it looks like the card will be able to activate with what I want to do. Again, there's the Kaleidoscope coming down, summoning a Unicorn and Gungnir. Now, Gungnir is a card that I was very indifferent about playing the first many builds of Nekroz I did because I was focused more on a going second build, and I just feel like it's pretty lackluster for what you're trying to do in those builds. I was playing Cerevis for a long time because I wanted to protect Zaborg from impermanence or whatever card is directly going to chain to it, because Gungnir can only protect Nekroz cards, but Cerevis can protect Zaborg, and if you resolve Zaborg, most of the time you're going to just flat out win the game. But right now we got Incantation, Talismandra, searching another ritual monster. So we're adding Valk. I believe we're just going for damage here because we're in a clear field and we already have, what was that, 6,400 damage on board, or close to. I forget, Gungnir is 25, so activating the mirror, attributing Candle and Manju from hand, summoning Valk, and yeah, we're just gonna attack for game. And you can see his hand right there. He opened 5 1-ofs, none of which are playable on their own. Monster Reborn, like they're all the extenders that he doesn't want to see. And you did see the Crusadia Crawler Trap, which he has cut from the build since. It just opened up this pretty cool combo line where you can have a live equal max on top of your other 2 to 4 negates. So the deck is very, very scary when it just can do what it wants to do turn 1. Set up Gamma Seal next to Hot Red Dragon Archfiend and FA Dawn Dragster. So we finished siding. I believe I sided 9 cards. Now the side deck wasn't built specifically for him, but in the side there's a lot of going second cards because I took them all out when I changed the build to just focus on resolving Zaborg in turn 1 or establishing Unicorn with 2 to 3 protections in hand. So he's going to open Waterfront and then just start his normal Crusadia lines of play, normal summon Leonis, making Magius, and then the deck is very, very scary. The problem is you're so dependent on your normal summon, and like, I know you're playing 15 to 18 basically Crusadia monsters, playing 15 Crusadia plus the World Chalice, World Crown, or World Legacy World Crown, but that doesn't do anything by itself, so you need at least one Crusadia monster, and if your normal summon doesn't resolve, then you can't play the game basically. And that's just one of the big downsides to the deck, but its power is pretty much unmatched. Like, if you can go uninterrupted game one, if you win the dice roll and you go first, like, it's very hard to beat game one. But he's just resolving LP right now, summoning, I believe, Red Eyes Darkness Metal from the deck, which is a card that is absolutely just insane with the Guardragon stuff. So I honestly hope it doesn't get hit, since it's like one of the only good viable targets for LP to summon from deck, but it theoretically could be on the chopping block in a few months if these combo decks get out of hand. But right now they're pretty contained. So I activate Cyframe Gear Gamma on the Saryuja because I found that if that Saryuja does not resolve and it just gets off the field rather than just having its effects negated, like, the turn just is over. That's why he was forced to use Ash on Gamma, which is absolutely never a good thing when you're put in that position, because now Gamma's not once per turn, so I have just a free negate and destroy on whatever I feel is the most important. So me knowing, he's got Waterfront, and that's my only other interruption for the turn, I'm pretty scared, because if he didn't forget basically that Cyframe Gear Gamma was not a once per turn, like, I would have been in an extremely bad situation. So right now he's just doing normal Guardragon things, making the Argipane to get out whatever dragon from the extra deck that he wants. Now I was talking with him after, and this is the key misplay of the match basically, because he summoned Hot Red Dragon Archfiend, which is a great card, don't get me wrong, but in the current accepted game state where he knows I have Gamma in hand, he can't, like, it doesn't do anything to Gamma. So if he summoned Crystal Wing, the game would have been significantly different, because Gamma is basically a dead card right now, because he could just negate it for free and then continue on with his plays. But right now he's attempting to summon the second Saryuja. He chain blocks it with Black Dragon Collapse Serpent, which is why I couldn't use Gamma there. But he's going to get the free add and then draw 4. This Saryuja is a card that I feel like should just be at 1. I don't think it's an unhealthy card. It requires a lot of investment, specifically 4 separate monsters to get the basic effect, which I know people are like, you can just special summon whatever you want these days, but that's still a lot of commitment. It's not like link climbing. You need 4 individually named monsters, which is not always the easiest thing to do, and if it does get interrupted, it puts you in a really bad position. Even something like Effect Veiler and Permanence, where the other effects of it are negated for the rest of the turn, it can just literally end the turn. So I feel like it's not ban worthy, and I hope it never gets there, but it definitely should be at 1, or at least the effects are once per turn, because just being able to double, triple Saryuja is pretty unfair. You literally have access to every card in your deck. So right now, resolving Kyoto Waterfront, this is what scares me. Playing through a Gamma Seal with 2 negates plus 1 to 2 other negates on the field is very, very difficult to do, especially from my deck, because Gamma Seal is not an extra deck monster, which most of the problem monsters are, and it has a very good time dealing with those. But when my only out to Gamma Seal is resolving Trish, and the only way I could resolve Trish is to resolve a ritual spell, which gives Gamma Seal another negate, I'm put in a bad position. So again, I used the Gamma on the Saryuja special summon effect, and this is, you see he's reading it, making sure that it's not once per turn, because without this play, I definitely think we would not have had the end result of this game. So right now, resolving Gamma, which I feel is an extremely undervalued hand trap against these combo decks, because hitting Saryuja is great. You know, you stop their effect from drawing, it gets rid of the monster, they don't get that extra special summon, and they're probably down to 3 cards at most in hand, because it does take usually a 2-card investment to get into that Saryuja. So right now he doesn't really know where to go, because you know he's already played all of his Crusadia monsters. He just has the black dragon or white dragon in hand. I believe it's white dragon, and he's not in a good position. So quick launch is an extremely unique extender for Crusadia Guardragon that he's been testing, and it works out really well, because usually even if you hard draw the Rocket Synchron, you can start Saryuja it back before you need to activate quick launch. And it's just a dragon extender that lets you start your Guardragon plays, like if you opened up less than ideal. So right now he's summoning the white dragon, and then he's soon going to realize that there's not really much he can do. So he's going to check his extra deck and see what he makes. And right about now is where he realizes that there's nothing in his extra deck that he can make. So what that means is he is basically in the same position he was last game, where, I mean, at least now he has 1 negate on board, but it's really not hard to bait 1 negate for Nekroz, especially going second. So all I have to do is deal with 1 targeting negation and then play through that. He's still trying to grasp at straws, but proceeding to end phase, resolving quick launch, you know, that has to get destroyed, and the Gamma and Driver have to get banished, which I know I put him in the graveyard, but it doesn't really change the game state. Alright, main phase 1. What are we gonna do? Revealing Talismandra with Unicorn to probably summon Candle from deck, because there's no reason to summon any other ones. The incantations are fantastic. A lot of people have indifferent ratios that I have no idea where they're coming up with how many they should play. Like 3 book, 3 pencil, like 1 to 2 Talismandra, Candle. The cards are very good, and they're necessary, but you really don't need more than 2 of each copy. Like, I think a 2/2/2 line for each one across the board is more than enough, because you don't want to see double Talismandra and not be able to resolve it. You know, most of your deck searches the rest of your deck, so you can easily resolve 1 pretty much every single hand. But there are a handful of games that you're just sitting on, you know, Zaborg, 2 incantations, and something else that you can't resolve, but it doesn't happen very often. But you saw I baited the Nekroz cycle with, or the Hot Red Dragon Archfiend negation with Nekroz cycle, and then I summoned Unicorn off Kaleidoscope. So I opened relatively well as far as being able to bait the negation and then still play. Hard drawing the 1 of Unicorn is very nice, and the 2 of Kaleidoscope. So I'm not going to complain. Sending Herald instead of Elder Entity, which I was thinking about, but I felt like resolving Trish was probably more important right now, because if I can just get rid of that Hot Red Dragon, a card in hand, and then something from grave. I don't think the grave's very relevant in this matchup, but just ripping 1 card out of his hand plus getting rid of his boss monster that took so much investment is probably the route I want to go. So adding Mirror off Kaleido, or off Colossalus. So whenever you see Brio and Kloss in the grave, and mirror in hand, you know Trish is coming. So activating mirror, banishing the Brio and Clausulus, like I just said, and going into a very, very good card, Nekroz of Trishula. This card, to this day, is probably one of the cards you should fear the most as far as just power of card activating. You know, losing that graveyard resource +1 from hand and field is just can be devastating. So banishing the red med from grave, which, like I said, I don't think is very relevant, but we'll see where I go from here. Checking the grave, I think I am down to 2 cards because outside of the Unicorn, I didn't have a follow-up. I didn't have a way to get to Valk to get some more draws, but I'm just putting a little bit of damage in. Got a total of 3,300, and then he's just adding his Collapse Serpent, hoping he can do something next turn. Main phase 2, and then I believe I proceed to end phase. Yes. So draw, and then he's just gonna. I don't know where he's gonna go with this. He's got 3 in hand, 1 being the black dragon. Hand shuffle, what you gonna do? Checking the grave. All right, there it is. Yep, he conceded. Didn't really have any follow-up. So in this matchup, we didn't really get to see too much of the Crusadia Guardragon and how powerful the deck is. But it happens as part of Yu-Gi-Oh! But guys, thanks for watching, and I appreciate it.